I know. You guys are like, who is that? Who is that? Did she give up on lives? Yes, I did. All right. I'm sorry. I gave up on lives. I was in America. I tried. It was just not conducive. Various places and times. Coming back home, we're in Jerusalem now, and having like teens and preteens glare at you, at around the time you should do a live was it just a little, but they're not home right now. And guess what? It took not just their lack of presence. I have to go pick one up soon, but also, I've been meaning to get on for days because you don't even like this, even when I was in the US, I could just watch the embers of things burning all around. Israel has decided to go all in and get into and go into Gaza City, the last remaining stronghold. We've heard this before of Hamas. Gaza City, let's go. And so is the cabinet decided we're going all in. So there was that. Then, and in case you don't know, because like this, now I'm summing up weeks, then Israel assassinated the Houthi leadership, 7 of them all over in Yemen, which actually since then we've seen more missile and drone attacks. And what was the other thing? And they did something. Who else did they say? Oh, Abu Ubaidah, whatever. The spokesman of Hamas. They actually managed to find and kill him in Gaza. And then today, with all that's going on, and now major high-rise buildings that are going down in Gaza. It's not just like the little like evacuate. We're moving into the neighborhood. It's like entire high-rise buildings coming down over the last couple of days. But then today, terror attack in Jerusalem. I couldn't believe when the news started coming in of first there was a shooting event, and then you wait for it. Like, is the shooting event going to be like a criminal drive-by, or is it going to be classified as a terror attack? And within the first couple of minutes, it was determined to be a terror attack. 2 shooters at a very crowded bus stop. Lots of people waiting, buses stopped, cars going by. So far, 6 people have been killed. The two shooters, the 2 terrorists, were also killed. But 6 people killed, and there's still several hospitalized, and several of them in serious condition. So that really just blew up the morning. And then in the midst of that, several drones. Oh yeah. And you see, this is gonna be the kind of broadcast where I keep remembering things. Like yesterday, should have done a live, because one of the drones from the Houthis actually bypassed interception and landed at Ramon Airport in Eilat. So this is not some huge international airport, but it's active. It's mostly domestic flights. I think some flights come from overseas, or at least used to before the war, or the wars, or the wars within the wars. I don't know, but at the airport, it landed at the airport. Luckily, it wasn't enough to scare off some of the few airlines who have decided to come back. So we still luckily have some airlines flying, which is how we were able to get out and back. Okay, so now, and then as I'm getting ready to this live, setting it all up, all the phone starts, beeping, and new updated, cleared for publication. 4 Israeli soldiers were killed in Gaza. Literally, it's just coming out right now in Jabalia. Let me see what the circumstances were. I haven't even had time to check. I mean, just like nonstop news. And then, of course, last night, is there going to be a deal? Trump said Hamas is going to, he gave the ultimate ultimatum to Hamas. So Trump, who has been out of Israeli politics for a little while, came back yesterday, said, this is it. Here's the deal. We're presenting the deal right now. all of the hostages, all 48 hostages, 20 of whom are believed to be alive, released right now in the first round, all together, not in stages, and whatever. I don't know all the details of what he had for Israel, because Israel also, like withdraw from Gaza, this, that, whatever, which Israel, whatever. But Israel immediately said, Netanyahu said, I accept the deal. So then Trump announced Israel's accepted the deal. We're waiting for Hamas. So then it put the onus on Hamas. So what were the circumstances of this? I still have not found something. Oh my gosh. Details in the early morning hours. Oh my gosh. They climbed in Gaza. The terrorists, I'm reading this directly, climbed into a tank, threw an explosive device into the open hatch, and fired at the force. 4 soldiers were killed in the attack. Another soldier was seriously wounded. So anyway, so that's what happened with that. So the whole this whole region is literally boiling and roiling. Another nonstop in the background that's been going on since the cabinet voted. And this is when I was in the US, so let's say it was like late August, when the Israeli cabinet voted that they're going all in, and they call it Gideon's chariots. And also the defense minister called it opening up the gates of hell on what do you call it? On Gaza, since they decided that the families of the hostages, of the Israeli hostages, have begun nonstop protests. I mean, like almost around the clock. They were in Jerusalem all weekend outside the prime minister's house. There have been, it's gotten so intense that there's been fights breaking out. There were fires lit. There was a fire lit that burned somebody's car, and it got all political. They're blocking roads. They're sitting at the Knesset. They're doing sit-ins elsewhere. They're doing loud protests. They're doing quiet protests, blocking major highways, because they say by going into Gaza City like this with, no holds barred, by going in like this, you have signed the death sentence of our hostages who are alive. And so there's believed to be 20. Hamas just released last week a video in which 2 hostages were seen. They looked tired. It sounded like he hardly had breath. Meanwhile, he wasn't in a tunnel. He was driving around. They were driving around Gaza City with this hostage. And at the end, he meets another hostage, Alon Oel, who we haven't ever seen on a video, but there was one of the hostages said that he was with him in captivity. But the family said that it looks like he's lost sight in one of his eyes. At the time that the hostage that was with him, I don't remember who it was released, they said that he had an eye infection, didn't know what was going to be. So anyway, today they're showing right now scenes from the terror attack, the chaos outside the bus stop. Oh, just like so much stuff. And also with the Houthis and with them launching today, they launched I think there were 2 rounds of drones, and one of them escaped detection from all the way in the south to almost between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. The one yesterday that actually landed at the airport, like of all places that it landed, that one escaped detection. Sirens were not even sounded because it wasn't detected as a hostile aircraft. Today, the Houthis put out a statement. Again, take it with a grain of salt, but they said they aimed at airports, 2 airports, and secure military bases, and Dimona. There's nuclear power plant there, supposedly, whatever. So that is all right. So anyway, that's all the war news. But then there is there's other news that is extremely important that I need to touch on before I wrap this up. Two huge stories that one of them is really mind-boggling. I'm going to do that one second. So first of all, a bookstore in the old city owned by a Christian Arab, a Palestinian, was raided, and the owner, Tony Sabella, was arrested. This is a popular bookstore slash coffee shop slash bar, wine bar. Like it's this really a really amazing place where people gather to just have a drink, have a coffee, light food, and he sells books. Now the books are all Palestinian narrative, and I mean, about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, also Palestinian cookbooks. But the owner is a Christian from the old city. He was arrested. I saw him in the old city. He said he has a restraining order from his shop. He has more hearings coming up. And I said, okay, how can I get in touch with you if I want an interview? He said, I don't have my phone. They took my phone. So right now I'm watching that case. I've got to get in touch with his lawyer and find out what's happening with him and what's going to happen. If you remember, a couple months ago, police raided another Palestinian bookstore in East Jerusalem. It turns out that we know that our kids go to school with the cousins of the bookshop owners, or their cousins with the kids of the owners there, and same thing. It was two shops, the father and a son. They were both arrested. They had a restraining order as well. And so there were a lot of Jewish groups that made solidarity visits to that bookstore to say, no, like, we believe in free speech and you should be able to sell what you want. And according to them, and in the news reports, like, they were, the charges were, or the suspicion was incitement through these books, and also disturbing the public peace or something like that. So anyway, that is a big story we're watching right now. And then the other one, my gosh, I'm going to have to pull this up and actually read it to you. You're not going to believe it. We talk about land struggles, and we were concerned that something was, rising up again with the Armenian quarter, and that maybe that was on the cards again, that sale, and which would mean basically spell the end of the Armenian quarter. Oh, wait, I want to put this in Google Translate. I can't do that from here. Hold on, excuse me. So no, this is a similar story, but it might be worse. This has to do with some fraud like I've never seen before. Like, listen, there are people out there who definitely, there are Jewish groups that their mission is called land reclamation, and their whole mission is to go out and to buy property where they, can then sell to or house like Jewish families, and it's a way of Israel, having more land. It's like the bloodless war of for land, but what it does is also change the demographics of the city and of the country. Especially, it's a very prevalent in Jerusalem, where there's a lot of diversity, let's say. First of all, in Jerusalem, there's a lot of land owned by churches, Armenian church, the Greek church, the Catholic church, more than just that, but also the Anglicans. And this is what this story is about. And then there's also like Sheikh Jarrah, which maybe you heard a couple of years ago. It was more in the news, where an apartment block that where Palestinians lived was suddenly owned by some Jews who proved in the court, we found that we own this building. It goes back to such and such. And I think there was a dispute over the land deeds, and that they were getting the current residents kicked out, and it just made for a big, like constant conflicts in Sheikh Jarrah. That was with more like Palestinians with Muslims. This is about also the churches and about Christian land. So it's a slow changing of the demographics of the city and of the country eventually to be more Jewish. So now this story, let me just read you the headline. The Anglican Church Association says a convert to Christianity planned to take over our historic properties. The Anglicans claim that Mordecai Weberman gained the trust of the senior officials and the community and forged signatures and documents to obtain the Anglican school and the old Kol Israel building. These are properties estimated to be worth tens of millions of shekels. Okay, so what happened? What happened here? And this is something that I can't like imagine. Like if I wrote a book about this, you would all be like, it's impossible. It's funny. An ultra-Orthodox Jew went to this Christian organization, the Anglicans, and basically converted to Christianity. He gave his heart to Jesus. He had a come to Jesus moment. And I think he even got baptized. And he spent years with them. And of course, they were like, wow, look at this. Like um, he became a Christian, or let's help him and and help him, mentor him and whatever. And he got so close and so in with them that when he brought them documents in Hebrew that the Anglicans from England couldn't read, and they signed it, it suddenly turned out to be the sale of these historic and priceless properties in the heart of downtown Jerusalem, where currently there's a school from kindergarten through 12th grade for 200 plus foreigner diplomat families and everything. This is like this historic school where everybody knows somebody who has been there, especially in the international community. I mean, this is unbelievable. So, of course, this has gone to the courts, and the school and the Anglican Association are going to contest it. And I will definitely be. I'm reading you the story that's right now that was printed in Israel Hayom, and actually, it's even the Google translated version of this story. But I will be getting the information directly. I'm going to be in contact with them and get you information, be able to verify it. But this might just be beyond any of the land deals I have ever heard of yet in this country, that were controversial, that were pitting like Jew versus Gentile, or the state versus the citizens, or the church versus the people of the church. I mean, this might take the cake. So, all right, I'm going to leave you with that. A very dramatic, intense, heavy day. All of this news has been happening all of the news that I told you is just like unfolding in the last couple days. And now, of course, with 6 people killed in the heart of Jerusalem, you will definitely see an escalation in security measures. God knows what's going to happen now in the West Bank. We didn't even touch the West Bank, where things are happening all the time and getting very sick. Like, don't be surprised if like one broadcast, I just get here and be like, oh yeah, there's like the West Bank is all, Israeli now. And you'll be like, what happened? Well, sorry, I didn't like, there's so much news going on there right now. There's going to be a serious escalation. I don't know if it will also translate to an escalation in the attacks in Gaza by Israel. And in terms of protests here from both sides, because this happened in the heart of a religious neighborhood, and all of the 6 victims so far, they're ultra Orthodox Jews, and so it'll just be interesting to see like what the response is now from the government, from the army, from the police, and from the people. So we're in for some serious days. So anyway, all right, that's it. Oh, and now Emily chimes in with a comment. Yes, the Anglican school. Emily, oh my gosh, we have to talk. Like this was just crazy. And the Houthi drones, you don't hear about them unless they land, but one did land at the airport. So yeah. But anyway, all right, I got to go pick up a kid. So cut this short. And anyway, thank you for tuning in, and check back, because as long as I can avert the drones and the glares of the preteens in the living room, I will try to do this again soon.